In this video, I want to talk about a repair I recently did on my '99 Lexus ES 300. A little bit of quick history behind it. A couple years ago, maybe even almost 3 or 4 years ago, the car was throwing a P1354 code, which meant that one of the VVTi solenoids was bad. And it was early on in me doing DIY repairs, so I didn't know that much, and but I found out that it was that solenoid. So I went and I found the solenoid on Amazon. When you go to Amazon and you search VVTi solenoid, and you see I'm filtering it by the vehicle, you see you get all these options, you know, $41.99. This is a Dorman, so at least it's a brand. Obviously people have their issues with Dorman. $32, $37, $40. Here we have $28.99 for the pair. What a deal. $33.99 for the pair. There's the filter, the connector. $29.99 for the pair, $13.99 for one. So at the time, obviously trying to save some money, I thought, you know, a valve is a valve. I got it and put it in the car, and it resolved the code. Now what would happen, and I mean I couldn't trace it, but I mean I can say that at some point after that, when you would get to around 40 miles an hour, between 40 and 50 miles an hour under light acceleration, when you would press on the accelerator, the car would jerk. It almost felt like the transmission was slipping. And the transmission finally went out in late 2022, and it got rebuilt. And after it got rebuilt, it had the same issue. So that kind of nearly eliminated the fact that it was a transmission issue. So I had been trying to figure out what this problem is for the longest time, and I wasn't able to figure it out until I used a certain app. The app, it's called Motor Data OBD, and what's great about it is, I don't know if I can do it here without being connected, but it shows a whole bunch of data. I don't think it's gonna do it. Is there a way? Let's see. No, you're not gonna connect to anything. Let's see. Is it going to show you are not connected? Connect to ECU. Does it show settings, general, debug? Maybe there's one of my logs, save DTC logs. Okay, so here's playback recorded log. So here's an example of it, and it shows all of these different values. Now I have a dash command as well, and it shows a lot of these, the fuel trims, the engine speed, but alright, end of log reach, that's fine. So, and it shows the oxygen sensor, but what really helped me is that it showed the transmission fluid temperature and the fuel tank vapor pressure. And when I was trying to trace down a P0446 code, that was very helpful. And after the transmission got rebuilt and I was trying to bulletproof the transmission before I put the cooler in, that was very helpful as well. So another value that became helpful is the misfire counter. And you see you get misfire counters for every cylinder, and the way it works is I think every either 200 or 1,000 revolutions it resets, and it tells you how many misfires there were for that time period. And then it also has a, you know, the total count somewhere here. Let's see, fuel trim, misfire counter, all cylinders. So we see that there. So these actually, this app has been very helpful. Now it's more expensive. I end up just getting, it's a free app, and then to get all of these values, it used to be you could get some values for the free app, but now to really get any of these values, you either need to buy all of the upgrades. There's all these different paid plugins that you get. So you could do paid plugins, and you do it by the manufacturer. So you can either get a lifetime, the diagnostic plugin, and then there's the configuration plugin, the warning lights, or you do the 1 week subscription for 99 cents, which is what I did. And looks like I got a package here. Either way, so that is where this app came in. And what I was noticing is, and this is a little bit of doing the diagnosis, is that when it would, what I notice is that when so the car obviously would need to be on. Once the car was on and I was testing it just in a parking lot and I would go accelerate, there would be a number of misfires. And it was only happening in one bank of cylinders. So the way I saw that, we'll go down. I seen it. I don't know if any of these are going to work. Let's see. Is there another log? Maybe this one. Playback recorded log. Okay. So I'd only seen it, I believe, in the 1, 3, and 5 cylinder. I don't know if we're gonna see it here. But either way, so I would see the misfires only in those cylinders which said one bank. And then, you know, my mind started racing of what that could be. Was it, you know, the worst of the case, is it a cylinder head leak? Was there, you know, is there a leaking injector? Those were the biggest ones. But I'm like, what is something that affects a whole bank of cylinders? Well, obviously a head gasket would. A fuel injector wouldn't. That's just one cylinder at a time. One cylinder, you know, some cylinders would do it more than others. I believe like 2 and 4 or 6, you know, had more misfires. But either way, it was all on one bank. So I thought, well, maybe it's the VVTi solenoid. Even though I had replaced it, I replaced it with a cheap Amazon part. Let me just order another set of VVTi solenoids. This was another set of VVTi solenoids. Actually, one of them is the old set and one of them is the new set. I'll get into why. So here they are. This was, again, I think just under 30 bucks for the pair. So incredibly good price. You could see made in China. So cheap solenoids. Now the trick with these is that what the normal test that you see for this is to go and check it. You want to check the resistance. So you get your little voltmeter and you check the resistance, and if at around 68 degrees it's between 6.9 ohms and 7.9 ohms, then it should be fine. This is in the full service manual. So let's see if it shows you. So then that's the torque. Here's the error code, and this was the error code I was getting. So P1354, that's bank 2, and which is the front bank. 1349 is bank 1, the back bank. So that's what I initially had the problem with. So if we go through, you know, obviously there it shows where it is. There it shows where it is again. And then there's a little filter, which I replaced the first time with Toyota filters. So it shows you remove the oil control valve, remove the filter, install the filter. I'm trying to get to, so here's where you do the inspection. So you remove the cover, disconnect the connector, use an ohm meter. So if the resistance is not as specified, so every single one, even the ones that was bad, the resistance fell within. That was not the issue. I actually don't know about the original ones, but the one that was causing the misfire. So the first time it was creating this code, it was doing the 1354 code, and it was actually kind of scary. Like the engine would really hiccup. And one night when I was driving, when I brought it back because, you know, it was nearly undrivable, the catalytic converter, the front catalytic converter, was actually glowing red hot, meaning that there was, you know, more air getting into it than was supposed to, and so not a good condition. So the initial Amazon order fixed that issue, but it took me 2 years later. I mean, let's go see. This was the Amazon order, December 17th, 2020 for $24.99. And if we go to that, we see that this isn't even available anymore. So this is the one I put in, and I mean, it mostly worked, but the Bank 2 one was causing intermittent misfires, which I was only able to see with that app. I'm going through this whole story just so if it's beneficial to you, hopefully it is, you can have an idea of how these variable control valves work. As I had mentioned, all of these check out electronically, and when you put the battery on them, they move. We see this is the original one that was on the car. So in 2020, from a 99, it was nearly 20 years old, and we see the part number there. 15340-20010. So this one was the one that actually caused the code in the first place. So it moves, but where the issue comes is this varnish that is on the valve. Now, I know some people will say you can clean it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. So the real test, and it's really hard to tell, is when you get one of these, you know, this is this little jeweler screwdriver, you push down, and if there's any real resistance, that's an issue. So if we go down, I mean, obviously it's hard to show on camera, but you know, if you're testing this, there should be almost no resistance. Now this has been sitting, I don't know why I kept it, but I did, but you could feel the resistance. Now if we go to the other one where there wasn't a code, pull this out, and we try the same thing on this one, there's some resistance, but not as much. Again, this is dry from oil, because it actually comes when you purchase it, but it moves a lot smoother. You can see, I got this glue on this screwdriver here. So, but you can just feel it's smoother. Obviously, when you're replacing these, do them both at once, because if one went, this one probably wasn't far away, and even though it wasn't throwing a code, because that's where currently you see there's like a, I don't know if you could see that or not, but there's definitely more resistance. And what it is that it's intermediate resistance, where it has areas where it's smooth, and then areas where it fights you a little bit. So that irregularity is what I believe is causing the issue. So that's one of the tricky things about these valves. And there's no, you know, the only clear-cut test is the, you know, put your voltmeter on here, check the ohms, and if that works, then technically it should work. But this varnish issue is something that, if you're having an issue, it could be that, but there's really no, and then you just kind of feel it. So, and we see the part numbers. So these were the original part numbers. We see 153320010, 153420010, and then another code, but that's not part of the part number. So these are the 20-year-old ones. Here is, these are two of the Amazon ones, one of them from the one in 2020, and another one from a purchase that I just made a couple months ago to do a test. And when I purchased them, the first, I actually got two batches. One batch, one of them was rusted, so it had a whole bunch of resistance, and then the other one was okay, I guess, and I think that's the one I ended up using for a couple months until I got the Toyota ones, which we're going to get into. But these were, so look at this. So this is from China. You know, this is one of these $30, and I'll pull it up on the screen there in a second. But we see they put the same part number right there, just how it was, 15340. And this one, I believe, had an issue. Let's see how this one feels. Again, electrically, these all check out. You could feel a little bit of resistance there, not too much, but some of it's there. But when I replaced it, so there's the one from 2020, which I had on until till 2024. I ordered another one just to diagnose it, and when I put one of the when I got it, one was rusted, so I replaced it. And Amazon does that thing, well, they'll send you the replacement, and then you have 30 days to return the other one. So I got the replacement, and then I returned, obviously, the rusty one. And then I put one of those in to the one, the bank 2 one that was causing the intermittent misfires from the ones I got in 2020. So this one, I mean, it doesn't feel bad. It feels pretty smooth, but for whatever reason, I wasn't using this one because this is the, I believe this one was causing misfires. I'm not sure. But either way, I didn't end up using this one on the car. We'll get to the ones that I was using on the car. And then this is the one that I believe was causing the intermittent misfires. So this is from the original 2021. And this one was causing the hiccuping. And if you feel it, again, this is hard to show on camera. See, it's covered in oil. I'm going to have to clean my hands. But it's a little tight. It's smooth, but not quite smooth. At least not smooth enough. For whatever reason, it was just out of tolerance enough that under these specific driving conditions, it was causing misfires. And it was actually causing misfires in areas of the acceleration range that I wouldn't feel. When I was just driving around the parking lot, it was misfiring. So it was when it had to switch into heavy load. Because in a parking lot going from a dead stop, that's a heavy load. And when you get to around 40 miles an hour, between 40 and 50 miles an hour, it's switching on the direct drive. So it's going into a heavy load because it's going into direct drive. So this is my second set. So in total, I have 4 sets of these solenoids. The original ones, the ones I got in 2020, the ones I got in the end of 23, beginning of 24, and then the second set, which I finally got from Toyota, which if I had known, and that's, I guess, the point of this video, if I had known, because at the time, obviously, these ones from Amazon, which seem so appealing, they were $30. And I mean, if you're not planning to keep the car and you just want it to run, hell, do the Amazon ones, but make sure they're not rusted. Do the electrical check on them and make sure that they feel mostly smooth when you do that test. But if you're planning to keep the car or you just want to do it right, get the Toyota ones. And we're going to get into the Toyota ones in a second. So that was the set that I was not using. One of them was causing misfire. I think both of these caused misfires. But they were slightly better than the other ones that I returned with the replacement. But I would not use these. If anybody wants these, let me know. Leave a comment down below, and I'll, if you pay for shipping, I'll send these out to you. And if anybody wants these, the original Toyota ones, for whatever reason, maybe you think you can clean them up. I don't know. So now, let's go look at the Toyota ones. And actually, we'll start at parts.lexus.com. And we'll go down. There's the, so we'll just go find it doing this way in case you're not sure how to find the part. We have the part number obviously, but we'll go through it. So we'll go to the engine and let's go down air cleaner, alternator, camshaft, cylinder block, cylinder head. I'm going to say it's in the cylinder head because it sits within the cylinder head and we already see it. So here's one control valve and we see the 15330. And then the other one, where's the other one? Oh, the other one's down here, it looks like. So it looks like that's 15330. Okay, so let's go look at this. And we see engine, variable valve, timing, solenoid, left, right. So the MSRP is $148.43. Now that's pricey. And actually, just a little comment on the inflation of auto parts prices. So this is an email from December 17th, 2020, when I was initially having the issue. Remember, I ordered the ones from Amazon on the same date, but I checked Toyota first. So here we have, they're sending me the quote. So for the solenoid, they have this updated part number, 15330A0101534. So that's just the updated part number, and it was $74.28 a piece. So it was $148.56 for both of them, and what they're trying to charge now for the same exact valve, 4 years later, not 4 years, 3 years later, right? Because it's the end of 2020, is $148 for one of them. So these things have literally doubled in price, which is outrageous. But let's go take this part number. So now we see this is the updated part number. So we see that replaces 134020010, 15340200011. So let's go copy this. And obviously, if you're going to buy it from Lexus, you know, that's the MSRP. If we go look at some, so here's some Lexus dealerships near me, you know, go and shop around. So we see that's 148. And all of them, all of these places, they enjoy complimentary shipping. It's anywhere from $75 to $100 on all orders. So even if it's far away from you, if you're buying at least $100 worth of stuff, you're going to get free shipping. So let's just go check this one, this Treasure Coast. They're doing MSRP, no breaks there. The Fort Myers, oh look, so they're taking nearly 20% off to $118.74. Okay. So now let's go take this part number and let's just confirm it fits, right? So we'll I mean, we know it does. We went through the diagrams, but just to double check, you know, when you're buying $300 worth of car parts, all right, it's loading. Okay, so let's do ES300, and it fits my ES300, fantastic. Okay, so let's go grab the part number. Let's go copy that, and now let's go to autoparts.toyota.com. Okay, lovely. So now let's put that in here, paste as plain text, and we see it found it here. They've recently changed their, I love the way their old website works so much better. This one is just, it looks nice, but it is cumbersome. So let's see. So see, these are some of the ones near me. So we'll do Toyota North Miami. I've bought a lot of things to Toyota North Miami. They have pretty decent prices on stuff. But you see, they're not even breaking from MSRP. So we're not doing that. West Kendall Toyota. Let's see them. What do they got going on? West Kendall Toyota. Let's see. Come on. 148. So they're at MSRP too. All right, let's see this South Dade Toyota. All right, third time's a charm. Let's see. What do we got? 107.09. Wow, so that's even better than the other one. So they're taking 28% off. Not bad. So still a considerable amount more than what it was in 2020, but better than the MSRP. This is why it's always good looking, especially when you're buying this amount of stuff or you're buying something that's over. I believe Toyota is, if we go here, so if you buy $75 and up, you'll get up to $200 in ground shipping. So not bad. And a little secret is, since they've switched over to this new website, every once in a while they do 25% off. So it's 25% off of this. So if they're running that deal, it'd be this 107 minus, you know, a little more than $25 on there. But so the next place I saw one of these Toyota dealers is this Sarah Toyota of Decatur. They have some of the lowest prices that I've seen from a Toyota dealership. And actually just recently they were running the 25% off, the additional 25% off, and I ordered some stuff from them. So they have it 103.52. So this was the lowest I was able to see to get it. And then when they have the 25% off, that puts it pretty much near what it was in 2020. So that's what I was looking to do. But then I really didn't want to pay that much because I wasn't even fully sure that that was going to fix the issue. So then I went to Amayama. And Amayama is one of these vernal equinox day. Okay. Amayama's is they're based in Japan, and they have warehouses in Dubai and in Australia. Because what I was finding is when I would search this part number, let's just go. I mean I know it by 15330200010. We see, okay, the Toyota parts deal 105, Amazon, which is going to be one of those cheap ones. But I was seeing this place called Partsook. Ali, there's the Amayama one. But let's just go directly to the Amayama one. So, Amayama, we see Lexus ES 300 to there. Okay. 153320010. But we know from originally the Lexus that all these part numbers are essentially the same. 153400810, the 20010, and the 20011. So if we go look for the 15330200011, look at this. So now we got this valve down to $41.69, and it's from Toyota. Now I thought this price was too good to believe, but there is another place. So let's go to Partsook. Okay. So here's this Partsook 1533020002010. Partsook. And you see $65. No, actually I think it was Parts Next. Let's see, where the hell is that? Okay, Parts Next. You see, I had the search already there. And we see they had it. Oh, and now it's out of stock. Actually, let me do the, for whatever reason, the 20011, $44. I'm like, are these fake parts, like fake eBay parts? And we could see their Parts Next, and they're located in Dubai, I believe. Let's see. So I'd seen some reviews or whatever, but either way, Amayama had it for $41 plus $12 shipping. So I actually got a couple of things. We could see here I got what the final price ended up being. And we could see $41.69 for one of them, $41.80 for the other one, and then the total ship was $24.67. Another thing I got was this valve set, and these were EVAP valves, because that was another issue where after I replaced the charcoal canister, it was running very rich, like 5 to 10% on idle, negative long-term fuel trim. And I thought these were another set of valves that I'd gotten like Chinese replacements, and I believe they weren't working properly. It seems to be better now, but I'd gotten little vacuum valves like this and like this, and I mean between all of them, $10.79, then to $26, I may have spent about half the price of what the genuine Toyota, which comes with all three valves. And there's actually a video on my channel, this one 3 years ago, where I replaced the valves, and I put the hose, and it was a real pain to put these hoses on because they didn't fit quite right. So I got the new valve set for $100. So not bad. And now it's all legitimate Toyota valves, even though this says it was, you know, a Toyota valve. I doubt it. So yeah, that's what I got from Amayama. So that was a little bit of a parts shopping, and I can now vouch for Amayama. The new valves have no misfires. This seems to work pretty well, and everything kind of worked. The way they work is pretty interesting. You kind of go back and forth with messages. You know, what do? You do messages, and then they talk to you about the order and so forth. But it takes a little back and forth, but it worked out. It worked out well, and here's the result. So for a hell of a lot cheaper from Japan, and legitimately from Japan, we have the shipping $24.67, the two parts $41, which is cheaper than even what it was years ago, and the parts work great. These are the boxes that they came in. You know, looks like legitimate Toyota. It says made in Japan. Now this is the valve that was in the car. I just took it out. But it comes in this packaging right here, real nice. And yeah, so let's take a look under the hood, and we could see, so that was one of the valves. And the shipping actually came pretty quick, considering it was coming from Dubai. We'll put that back later. Here's this old valve set thing, which I'd put together in that video. You know, this valve, it says Toyota, but I don't believe that it is. Not for $25. This valve by itself sells for close to $100. So getting this whole set for $100 is pretty good. And you know, it comes with these hoses. It's plug and play. You just plug in. You know, you take off these two little nuts, which will go under the car, and we'll see that, and plug and play. So I'm very happy with the Amayama, and I kind of want to just go through some part shopping and some diagnosis to get to this. So let's just take a look under the car and under the hood and just see where all these things are and kind of what it takes to replace them. Under the hood here, we see the new valve set, nice and shiny. Everything's Toyota. So all it is there's a nut there, there's a nut there. You unplug these hoses. This is how they run. You know, that little one runs right there. This one runs over to this little diaphragm right there. That one goes to your evap line down there. This one goes to your set of vacuum lines right here. This one goes into the exhaust. That one goes into the little diaphragm right there, and so forth. So you can kind of get an idea of everything is ran. And that was pretty simple. And then the oil control valves, the new one, you can see, you can actually see they don't put the part number like where it was on the old part down on that bracket. You can see there's no part number. So where it is actually is up there. See, 033200011. So that's where they're putting the part number. Same thing for the other one. Let's see if I can get. So there you go. All right. So it's pretty simple. You can get this one pretty much without removing anything. You kind of just have to push that hose down. And then this other one, I ended up having to just take out this the intake, which is just take off the intake box here, you know, undo this from this little spring, undo the electrical cable for the mass airflow sensor. There's the evap hose, this little hose, and the PCV hose, and then just undo those screws, and it, you know, you kind of wiggle it off, and that's about it. Now, as I said, I had replaced the filters before, and I replaced these valves along with an oil change. So there's nice clean oil running in here. We see the fresh Toyota filter. There she is. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Two 10mm bolts. These are also 10mm. So with a 10mm you could do both of these. And no misfires. I tested it with the app, and it showed no misfires. So a successful repair using parts bought through Dubai, from Dubai, through amayama.com. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching. As a final tidbit, here's all the final part numbers that were talked about in this video if you're looking to do any of these repairs yourself.